let's do this. Yeah, the Steam machine is gonna come in real handy. 64 gigs of RAM. All right. Well, we got a game that can match that. Oh, by the way, hello viewers. Another beautiful day, by the way. Hope your five senses work, health and strength is good or excellent. Listen to this. Crazy. Cinder City recommends 64 gigs of RAM on its Steam page. 64 gigs of RAM. Is this the economy Cinder City PC system requirement call for a crazy amount of RAM? Remember ETA Prime did a video showing when he put 4 terabytes of storage and 64 gigs of RAM on the Steam machine. Yeah. Listen to this. It says Big Fire Games and publisher NC have listed Cinder City on Steam, unveiling its PC requirements, confirming an insane 64 gig memory recommendation. Said the game is a third-person RPG shooter set in the near future of dystopian version of Sheol, devastated by mutant. Players take control of a Cinder Knight, a super soldier who are humanity's last hope. Players will take control of 7 Cinder Knights that stands at the center of the game's story. And it says, to our knowledge, Cinder City is the first PC game to recommend 64 gigs of system memory on Steam. For context, the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X feature 16 gigs of total system memory. Says Cinder City recommends having more memory than a PS5, Xbox Series X, PS5 Pro, and Switch 2. The Steam machine looks so good now, don't it? Says here, the Switch that doesn't include GPU and memory. It says here, GPU requirements are reasonable, though the game GPU and memory recommendation are nuts. Cinder minimum and recommended GPU are low end, and NVIDIA RTX 2060 6 gigs and RTX 4060 8 gigs respectively. However, games recommended AMD CPU and memory configurations are absurd. This game recommends AMD Ryzen 7 7800X3D gaming CPU and 64 gigs of system memory, while the game minimum CPU are much lower end, recommending a Ryzen 7 7800X3D feels excessive. Additionally, asking gamers to install 64 gigs of RAM right now is certifiable insane. How have Big Fire Games seen how much RAM costs right now? The Steam machine looks so good right now. Says here requires a 6. Okay, here's a minimum requirement. Requires a 64-bit operating system processor operating system, right? Okay. Windows 10 64-bit or Windows 11 64-bit required. Remember, Windows 10 just got an update, by the way. I should have done a video on that. Processor Intel Core i5 10400 and AMD Ryzen 5 3600. Memory 32 gigs. Graphics NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060 video RAM 6 gigs. DirectX 12. Network broadband internet connection. Storage 50 gigs of available space. Sound card DirectX compatible sound card onboard or onboard chipset. Now recommended requires a 64-bit processor and operating system. OS Windows 10 64-bit requires, or Windows 11 64-bit. Processor Intel Core i7 12700 or AMD Ryzen 7 7800X3D. Memory 64 gigs of RAM. And then it says here graphics NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4060 and video RAM 8 gigs. DirectX 12 that's version 12. Network broadband adapter 50 gigs of available space. Sound card DirectX compatible sound card onboard sound card or onboard chipset. Yeah, 64 gigs of RAM, folks. Yeah, so that Steam machine looks good now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this game has a trailer in it, so I will leave it. So yeah, uh, Steam Machine is definitely worth it. So for those people that was crying and complaining about the Steam Machine and its price, can't complain anymore. 64 gigs of RAM. I think the Steam Machine can do more than that, but I haven't seen anybody pushed it yet. But ETA Prime was the one that really put 64 gigs of RAM in it, and I think he put like 4 terabytes of storage. So it probably could do more. Probably could double it. So we'll see what the modders do when they get their hands on it. But yeah, so far, so good. So the Steam Machine, definitely worth it, man. When you're recommending 64 gigs of RAM to play a game. the PS5, the Xbox Series X and S, and the Nintendo Switch don't even come close, because you're looking at 16, and 16 is what, 32 plus another 12. That's about 40, like what, about 44 gigs between the 44, because you got 12 on the Switch too, 16 on the Xbox Series X, and 16 on the PS5. So 16 and 16 is what, 32. 32 plus 8 is what? 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. That's 40 gigs of RAM. They don't even come close to the Steam Machine. So yeah, 64 gigs of RAM, folks. So yeah, that Steam Machine is you're gonna need that Steam Machine going forward. So yeah. So all you Linux gamers, yeah, get your hands on one. Yeah, 64 gigs of that's on the motherboard. We're not even talking video memory. Video RAM, you need 8 gigs. You need 8 gigs of video RAM, and that's gonna come. And that's what the Steam Machine is pushing. Remember the Steam Machine just got Steam OS just got an update to where it improves the video memory for both Steam Deck and the Steam Machine and Linux. Just saying. so yeah, 64 gigs of RAM, man. So can't got to keep up with the times, man. Yeah. Let me see what else we got here. Speaking of news, since I'm over here on OC3D. No more physical games, people. No more physical games. So if you got a PS4 with physical games, appreciate it. PS3, appreciate it. PS2, appreciate it. Xbox One, Xbox 360, the original Xbox, yeah, appreciate it. If you got, let's say, the Nintendo Wii U, and you got the GameCube, and you got the, appreciate it. No more physical disc, man. Listen to this. Sony kills physical disc-based PlayStation games, citing consumer preference. See, I'm glad I bought the Steam Deck. I was already on it. Anyway, it says Sony plans to stop selling disc-based PlayStation games in 2028. It says Sony has officially confirmed that its plan to stop producing new PlayStation game disc in January 2028. Newly released games will only be available in digital format. This means either through PlayStation Store or a physical, not really download and code in a box. With this announcement, Sony claims it's adapting to consumer trends. Digital media has long overtaken physical discs as most popular gaming medium. Removing game disc as an option simplifies things for Sony, as all games will deliver in the same way. This should also make physical games games cheaper to produce, since none will require a disc to manufacture. In response to shifting trends in the consumer preference, new games will be released on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital format only. It says as a consumer preference and the broader entertainment industry continues to shift away from physical discs to digital trends, physical game disc production for all new games released on a PlayStation console will be discontinued starting January 2028. Following this date, new games will be available on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. This transition has no impact on games that are already released or will be releasing prior to January 2028 in this format. This is natural direction for Sony Interactive to adapt to consumer trends as the general preference for digital media significantly outpace physical disc. This transition will enable us to align more closely with how most of our community prefers to access and play games today. We'll continue to prioritize our resources to drive innovation in how players can access games and provide choices as to where players prefer to purchase new games, whether that at retailer or PlayStation Store. We remain committed to delivering a world-class gaming experience to our fans, and we thank you for your continued support. So that means then he says here, how has Sony plans PlayStation 6 handheld kill game disc? Sony is reportedly building a PlayStation 6 handheld, and no handheld console can be large enough to utilize Blu-ray disc. Sony next-gen PlayStation 6 console could be a disc-free platform, though the console's higher-end and non-handheld version may feature a disc drive for backwards compatibility or Blu-ray playback. The death of PlayStation disc will come around the rumored arrival of the next Sony next-gen console. This could mean that the PS6 could be Sony's first mainline console to lack support for disc-based media. Sony plans gaming features is digital only. Sorry, disc lovers, but the death of physical PlayStation media is coming. Good article, OC3D. Well, if you got an Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, and you got some physical disc, appreciate them. If you got a if you got a PS4 and a Xbox One with physical game disc, appreciate them. If you got a 360 and a PS3 and a Wii U, appreciate them. If you got a original Xbox, PS2, GameCube, Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, Sega CD, what's another one? Neo Geo CD, probably Panasonic 3DO, appreciate them. Goodbye, folks. Goodbye. No more disc in 2028. So yeah. If you're a game collector, yeah, if you're into fighting games, if you're into fighting games, or like what, first-person shooters, or those retro games, if you're into like whatever games that you plan on playing, those game disc now, they're up for grabs. Basically, they're up for grabs now. So let's say a game like, let's say the Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection, the let's say Killer Instinct, what was it? Killer Instinct Definitive Edition. If you're into the Soul Calibur games, yeah. If you're into, trying to think of all the games I can think of here. The Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection that just came out. Gotta get that. Whatever games that you're into, those games that are on disc, they're up for grabs now. That's what they're up for. They're up for grabs now. So they're gonna be on a first come first serve. So learn to appreciate your video games, man. That's what I can tell you about this whole game on disc. Look, I got the Steam Deck, and when the PS5 and Xbox Series X came out, I thought I was trying to get one, but then they became like kind of I couldn't get my hands on one, so I said, you know what, let me get my hands on a Steam Deck and just be done with it. And I'm glad I did. So yeah, but games on physical disc media now, They're no more. And then you had Nintendo with the game key card situation too. Can't forget them. Of course, you had Microsoft who had your games tied to a paywall. Can't forget that. So yeah, lot of games that are on the PlayStation, Xbox Series X, probably the first Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, the Wii U, PS3, 360, Wii, GameCube, PS2, original Xbox, Dreamcast. Yeah, those games are up for grabs now, man. So if you're building a arcade at home with consoles, and you can do that, yeah, get busy, man. Yeah, a lot of games are up for grabs right now. Up for grabs. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sitting here just running my mouth, but it's a world we live. It's a world we live in right now. It's a world we live in. You know. Anyway, what else we got here? What's this? What's this? IO Interactive. I'm just reading off OC3D here. See, what's this? IO Interactive confirmed job cuts plans as Microsoft pulls funding. Man, what is going on here? What's this? It says here, IO Interactive has confirmed that it needs to go through a challenging transition after Xbox pulled its funding for Project Fantasy. While IO Interactive remains committed to making this game a reality, it must adapt to this new reality and its short-term consequences. These consequences will include staffing decision, which another way of saying job cuts. While IO Interactive and 007 First Light is a successful game, that doesn't mean that the studio has the money to fund the Project Fantasy development without Xbox. The news come amid rumor that Microsoft planned to make sweeping job cuts across Xbox. Several reports has claimed that Xbox could potentially close down several studios. It says here, their gaming community for a good while. It has been all positive news from IO Interactive. We remain humbled and honored by the response to our latest outing with a young, unproven Bond, a bold new story, and a take on one of the most famous characters in entertainment. It says here, Microsoft has confirmed that it is changing how it invests in projects. Xbox expects to invest in the same amount of money into Xbox expects to invest the same amount of money into content as it did last year. However, they are changing where this money is being invested and the kind of project that they are backing. Projects with cut fundings include Interactive Fantasy. Then it says here, Xbox has taken a fresh look at where we invest, so we're focusing on our highest priorities. We're not reducing our overall investment in games. We expect to invest about the same in content as we did last year. What's changing is where we're investing and the kind of projects we're backing. They're just trying. This all sound the same. They're making cuts. So anyway, says here, according to Bloomberg, Jason Schreier, Xbox were set to fund and publish IO Interactive Project Fantasy. The company is now pulling its fund as a part of an internal reshuffle. Rumor has it that Microsoft planned to axe several studios and lay off a large number of employees. I saw an article last night where they said they was going to cut 5,500 jobs. I think it was on WCCF Tech or Tech for Gamers, one of the two. But I saw the article last night where they were talking about cutting about 5,500 jobs. Yeah, I do read my articles, just saying. But anyway, yeah, the gaming industry has changed, man. But I wonder if Asha Sharma knows what she's doing, man. That's what I wonder, with so many job cuts. Anyway, what else we got here? Okay, get out of there. No, what's this? Oh, somebody's using the Steam Deck. What he says? No time to download playing 007 First Light across London with NVIDIA GeForce Now. He's using the Steam Deck to do this. Anyway, he's in London with the Steam Deck playing it. What's this? Uh, yeah, glad I got one, man. Oh yeah, it's gonna come in handy. Um, what's this? Okay, let me get out of here. So they're looking for articles. But yeah, the death of physical games, people. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Go through the list here, see what I can pull up. Yeah, the game industry is changing. So yeah, all you physical disc lovers, what's this? What's this? Listen to this. This concerns Linux. Get out of there. Ugh. It says here, AMD is working on Linux support for new low-powered CPU cores. It says AMD has done an excellent job with its processors over the last few generations. However, the company is not slowing down and appears to be continuing its work to deliver the best possible experience even on Linux. In fact, it looks like AMD is preparing support for a new lower power CPU. A series of AMD Linux kernel patch has introduced an interesting change. The company is adding support for a new type of low-powered CPU core design for heterogeneous processors. This expands the existing x86 topology code, and then it says, until now, Linux supported both AMD performance core and efficiency cores. With the new patch, support has now been added for a third type of low-powered core. This is not the only change included in the new patch series. Linux currently manages boost ratio scaling on AMD and Hygon processors using x86 features AMD HDR cores. However, the new low-power cores uses AMD get highest perf. Instead, it says the patch does not mention any upcoming architecture, so it is still unclear what kind of hardware these new cores will be used in. Even so, it is clear that the work helps prepare the way for a new type of CPU that's been rumored for some time. Now the only thing left is to wait for AMD to officially announce these new processors. And that is that. This article is over on eTechnics. Anyway, alright, now keep moving here. What else we got? What's this? Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 is not coming to Game Pass at launch. I don't know what. The Game Pass ain't your issue. You need a subscription service in video games. Like I said, I hope she knows what she's doing, man. Seriously. Because I don't know. People be trying to blame Game Pass for their problems. But Game Pass ain't your issue. You got, it's a subscription service. You need to add that game to your service. So this notion that it's not coming to Game Pass makes me wonder if you really know anything about gaming. Let's see. Well, Capcom reportedly has no plans for Resident Evil 5 and 6 remakes. Huh? Alright. What's this? Okay, keep going here. Keep moving here. Look through all these articles. See what I can find. Yeah. Appreciate your games, folks. If you got a PlayStation 3, boy, PS3 is no joke. Okay. Okay, let's see what else we got here. State of Decay studio potentially up for closure, and Bethesda and Blizzard could also face layoffs. I wonder, man. I wonder. Stop. Yeah, I saw that about stop killing games. Okay, what else? Okay, keep moving here. The game industry, yeah. So yeah, appreciate your physical games, man. Um, mm, mm, mm. Pro bono. Okay, let's see what else we got. Just looking through the list here, see what I can find here. Going through the list. Yeah, game industry moves on, folks. What's this? Rhythm Heaven Groove got 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, all right. Yeah, but 64 gigs of RAM to play a game now. That Steam machine looks good though, that's for sure. So don't let nobody talk you out of getting one. Okay, what do we got here? Gotta keep moving. Yeah, I know. What's this? Okay. 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 Alright. Keep moving here. What's this? About Steam OS. I just seen this. What's this? Looking for articles here. What's this? Steam OS version. Okay. That Blue Jay making noise. Say Steam OS versus Windows 11. How Steam Machine probes Microsoft ruin living room gaming. Stop letting mandatory AI service and background index steal your frame rates. Steam Machine is back and is bringing the end of Microsoft monopoly with it. Says here, I get straight to the point. Microsoft has completely lost the plot. If you have built a dedicated living room PC or HTPC, home theater PC, recently you already know the nightmare. You spend thousands of dollars on a premium hardware, carefully navigating the hidden DMI link bottlenecks through your SSD, and plug your rig into a beautiful OLED TV. Then you boot into Windows 11 only to watch your ultra premium silicon get instantly choked to death by an operating system that acts more like an advertising billboard than gaming platform, as Valve prepared to launch its highly anticipated Steam machine on Monday. Okay, June 29th. The real story isn't the hardware itself, is the software framework powering it. Valve recently released SteamOS 3.8, advertised beta support for broader AMD and Intel desktop platform, officially signaling a massive migration away from Microsoft. And frankly, it's the harsh wake-up call that Microsoft leadership desperately need. The 4 gig idle tax how Windows 11 hijack your system resource. To understand why Valve Arch Linux-based operating system is such a critical threat to the status quo, we have to look at catastrophic state of Windows 11 bloat. Right out the box, a clean installation Windows 11 24H2 will routinely consume anywhere between 3.5 to 6 gigs of RAM, depending on how much RAM you're running in the first place, while sitting completely idle on the desktop. What it says here, let that sink in. Your system is using more memory to do absolutely nothing than an entire Xbox 360 need to run Halo 3. Independent diagnostics and community bugs report consistently affirms this thanks to mandatory visualization based on security, VBS, aggressive system maintenance, cache, and Microsoft obsession with running hidden Chromium WebView instance of basis OS widgets. A clean install demands rough 4 gigs of RAM just to keep the lights on. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm going to have to come back to this. Combine that with the aggressive kernel level telemetry, consistently sending usage data back to Microsoft servers, and your PC hardware resources are being siphoned away before you even click play. Just by 32 gigs excuse of broken optimization promise. Subtopic. Yeah. Anyway, I'll come back at this, but yeah. Windows 11 versus SteamOS, man. Let me keep looking through this list, see what I can find here. Yeah. It's a lot. I'm going to have to do that on a separate video or something. But yeah. See, I got the Steam Deck, and wait a minute. Sony is closing the PlayStation 3 and Vita store to focus more on new devices. Uh-oh. Sony is closing PlayStation 3 and Vita stores and more newer devices. Company says that select market will see more. Selected markets will see the store goes dark in 2026. Man, it says here PlayStation console maker has announced it is shutting down 2 of its classic platform stores, with both the PS3 and PlayStation Vita being affected. This might be a familiar sight to fans console, considering this is the second time the company announced a shutdown. Sony says that selected markets will see the stores go dark in 2026, but followed by a global shutdown in July 2027. No games will be purchasable digitally on these platforms following this point, but the company won't block any installed games or physical discs from being played. Despite the store going away, Sony added that its plan to continue having PlayStation 3 and Vita servers online to let players download their purchased games for the foreseeable future. As PlayStation Store continues to evolve to support modern games, including updated payments, process standard PS3 and PS Vita are no longer able to support these updates at level required. And then it says said the company about the decision. It says here are the timeline for the shutdown. Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua, PlayStation Store PS3 start will close on August 2026. Additional Latin America, Middle East countries PlayStation Store on PS3 will start late 2026. In all other countries, PlayStation Store and PS3 and PS Vita will close in July 2027. Get shopping. He says, last time Sony announced the closure of the PlayStation 3 Vita store was back in 2021. However, following a massive backlash from the community, former Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO, President Jim Ryan, reversed this decision quickly. We will have to wait and see if the community will react the same way this time too. As service gets pulled from the store, Sony say it will free up resources on its newer devices where the majority of consumers are. Don't forget that the company today announced a plan to fully go digital its modern console. And it says they're removing game disc from PlayStation 5 and probably PlayStation 6 entirely. Oh boy, the game industry. This is why I love doing this stuff. Anyway, hey, we keep going here. So what else we got here? I think I'm going to have to put this content out now and then come back at it. How many more minutes? How many minutes is that? 34 minutes? Yeah. That's why I love doing this stuff. And people got the nerve to thinking that I'm lazy. You can't be serious. Anyway. Alright. Let's get up out of here. We're done here, folks. Nice running my mouth with you. Yeah. We're running my mouth here. We're done here. And see if I check Pharonics real quick before I go. Yeah. Anyway, so what we got here. Oh man. Alright. Okay, Rad V, I see you. I see you. Okay. I think I'm gonna do another piece of news here. Let me get on that. Oh, thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. See you guys next time. Bye for now.